Rumors reach fever pitch as insiders admit Duke and Duchess of Sussex are leading very separate lives and will continue to do.
Synchronized walked over to Harry with the microphone and he gestured like he does to give it to Meghan. And Meghan reached for it and the lady quickly changed her mind, took the microphone away and pretended that she was walking in the distance.
The warning signs are there. Things are not going well for Harry and Meghan. Now, we've discussed this a lot before, but there's actually a couple of interesting big tidbits.
The microphone wasn't the story until it was. 10 seconds. That's all it took for everything the Sussexes built to start cracking. Cameras caught it from 3 angles, and every frame told the same story. Control, defiance, and a smile that didn't reach the eyes. What looked like a routine charity speech became a live signal that something inside their brand had broken. This wasn't about words. It was about power. And in those few seconds, we saw exactly who was losing it.
On, is she really sick, or was she concerned that there was going to be serious backlash because this would be the first time she would have appeared in front of the public since this absolutely damning investigation by the Hollywood Reporter?
To understand why a simple microphone became the center of international speculation, we need to examine the Sussex brand architecture. Since their 2018 wedding, Harry and Meghan have operated as a synchronized unit. What Meghan once described as salt and pepper, always moving together. Their public appearances followed a predictable pattern: shared platforms, synchronized messaging, seamless handoffs of speaking duties.
Back to the quote. She's now regretting that she wasn't more hands-on or involved when he was putting his book together. Sources told Heat at the time that the Sussexes' professional failures are something that caused drama inside.
Royal biographer Tom Quinn has noted this choreography wasn't accidental. It was strategic brand building, positioning them as equals in a partnership that challenged traditional royal hierarchy. Consider their methodology: joint interviews where Meghan often took the lead, carefully staged appearances where they'd alternate speaking roles, and that distinctive hand-holding that broke royal protocol but reinforced their united front.
The Hollywood Reporter, with reportedly 12 people willing and waiting to back it up. So they've made sure that they have dotted their I's and crossed their T's.
But by late 2024, something had changed. Prince Harry had completed 10 solo engagements in just 2 weeks. He'd traveled to New York, London, and Lesotho without Meghan. Industry veterans started noticing what they called professional decoupling, a term that would prove prophetic when examining what happened next.
Birthday away from his wife, hiking with his friends. Near the end of 2024, Harry appeared at 10 engagements within 2 weeks without Meghan by his side and went on this quasi-royal tour across 3 locations, New York, London, and Lesotho, without Meghan Markle.
The incident in question occurred during what should have been a routine charity event. Harry was delivering one of his strongest solo performances to date. Confident, engaging, commanding the room in a way that surprised even seasoned royal watchers. As one attendee later told royal correspondent Rebecca English, this wasn't the Harry we're used to seeing. He owned that stage.
It's Harry being asked to go to events and not Meghan. She is still obviously on WME's client list.
Then Meghan entered. Not listed on the program, not announced, but arriving with what witnesses described as red carpet timing. Notice the pattern here. It mirrors previous instances where Meghan has inserted herself into Harry's solo moments. The 2019 Well Child Awards, where she unexpectedly joined Harry on stage. The 2020 video calls where she'd appear in frame during Harry's individual commitments, each time subtly shifting the focus from individual to duo.
Can't see her taking that too well, to be honest with you. And as you said, he's in New York. It's only the first 24 hours of his appearances, and I'm sure that we will get a paparazzi car park stroll with Meghan, who miraculously appears somewhere in the Santa Barbara, Montecito area.
But this time was different. When Meghan approached, expecting the usual handoff, Harry's grip on the microphone tightened. Multiple angles captured what happened next. Harry continuing his speech without acknowledgement, Meghan's smile freezing in place, and most tellingly, complete silence from an audience unsure how to react. What's telling is the precedent this breaks. Royal historian Marlene Koenig points out that even during the tensest moments between Charles and Diana, they maintained public choreography. The royal family understands that body language speaks volumes, Koenig noted in a recent interview. When that choreography breaks down publicly, it signals something significant.
We also have an update in the Marriott case, and it is that in mid-August, so just a couple weeks from now, The prosecutor will decide what charges to pursue against Marius.
This wasn't the first sign of shifting dynamics. Sources close to the couple revealed to Heat magazine that professional failures had been causing drama inside the home. The Hollywood Reporter's damning investigation, citing 12 sources about Meghan's management style, had just been published. Harry had spent his 40th birthday hiking with friends rather than with his wife. Looking back, the signs were there, we just weren't reading them correctly. The pattern extends beyond public appearances. Financial documents from Archewell show increasingly separate project developments. Harry's African conservation work, his Invictus Games expansion, his solo Netflix documentation, all developed independently. Meanwhile, Meghan's Hollywood relaunch, her podcast pivots, her lifestyle brand development, equally independent ventures. To understand the true significance of this moment, we need context from inside both institutions, the monarchy and Hollywood. Palace sources, speaking on condition of anonymity to the Times, revealed that Harry had been asserting more independence in recent months. This aligns with reports from Radar Online that the couple had been blowing up at each other over professional crises and disagreeing about damage control strategies. The Hollywood perspective is equally revealing. According to industry insiders who spoke with Page Six, Meghan's absence from the DOME Emmy party was noticed and discussed. One talent agency source explained the significance. When you're trying to rebuild your Hollywood presence, you don't skip these events unless something serious is happening. What few people realized was the financial pressure underlying these tensions. Royal finance expert David McClure revealed that Harry's inheritance, while substantial, wasn't the endless wealth many assumed. The Sussexes' lifestyle requires significant income generation, McClure explained. When joint ventures underperform, that pressure intensifies. Consider the timeline. Their Spotify deal collapsed in June 2023, described by executives as grifters. Their Netflix output had been limited to one documentary series. Meghan's podcast relaunch was delayed multiple times. Each setback reportedly increased tensions, with sources telling Us Weekly the couple was taking turns being the anxious one. The microphone moment needs to be understood within this context. Harry's refusal to share the platform wasn't just about one speech. It represented months of accumulated frustration. Royal expert Richard Fitzwilliams noted, "When someone who's been consistently overshadowed suddenly refuses to step back, it's significant." This was Harry drawing a line. The institutional response was telling. Buckingham Palace, which typically maintains strict silence on Sussex matters, allowed certain briefings to emerge. Senior royals were reportedly aware of tensions, but maintained their policy of non-intervention. Meanwhile, Hollywood power brokers were recalibrating their approach. One CAA agent, speaking anonymously, admitted, "The package deal might not be the selling point it once was." The broader implication extends beyond one couple's dynamics. This represents a collision between two powerful institutions: the British monarchy's tradition of unified presentation and Hollywood's ruthless focus on individual star power. Neither institution forgives public weakness, and both were watching this unfold. The moment Harry maintained his grip on that microphone represented more than personal assertion. It was a fundamental challenge to the narrative architecture the Sussexes had spent 6 years constructing. Body language expert Judy James, analyzing the footage, identified 17 distinct tell moments in Meghan's posture during those crucial 10 seconds. The hand clasp, unclasp sequence, the weight shift, the micro expressions around her jaw. These are classic displacement activities, James explained. They indicate someone experiencing unexpected loss of control in a highly public setting. What's particularly revealing is how this contrasts with Meghan's usual stage presence, which media trainers have praised as masterful. The audience reaction, or lack thereof, became part of the story. Entertainment journalist Ellie Hall, who was present, later revealed, "The silence was deafening. You could feel everyone holding their breath, waiting to see who would break first." This collective uncertainty reflects how thoroughly the Sussex brand had trained audiences to expect synchronized performance. The institutional implications rippled immediately. Within hours, Palace communications teams were fielding queries about what this meant for future joint appearances. Netflix executives were reportedly reassessing upcoming projects. The Speaker's Bureau that handles their joint appearances was suddenly fielding requests for individual bookings. But here's what makes this a true turning point. It occurred in public, was captured from multiple angles, and happened during what should have been a routine charity appearance. Unlike private disagreements that can be denied or explained away, this was witnessed, documented, and immediately analyzed. Royal correspondent Valentine Lowe revealed that senior palace staff had been preparing for eventual separate professional paths since early 2024. The surprise wasn't that it happened, Lowe noted, but that it happened so publicly and so definitively. The financial ramifications are substantial. Joint appearances command premium fees, reported at $500,000 to $1 million per engagement. Individual appearances, while still lucrative, represent a significant reduction. For a couple whose post-royal financial model depended on their combined brand value, this public fracture threatens the entire structure. What we're witnessing isn't just marital tension, it's brand dissolution in real time. Marketing expert Mark Borkowski observed, "Once you break the illusion of unity, you can't simply restore it." Audiences remember these moments. As of late 2024, the Sussexes are operating what royal watchers call parallel lives. Harry's October schedule included solo appearances in New York, addressing the Clinton Global Initiative and various UN-related events. Meghan, conspicuously absent, was simultaneously spotted in Los Angeles at separate entertainment industry gatherings. The institutional response has been revealing. The palace, according to insiders, is prepared for all eventualities. Having learned from the Andrew and Sarah separation, Hollywood, meanwhile, is recalibrating. One studio executive admitted, "We're now looking at them as individual talents rather than a package deal." The implications extend beyond personal dynamics. The Sussex brand was built on challenging traditional structures while maintaining their own rigid framework. When that framework publicly cracked, it raised questions about every aspect of their narrative. Were they ever truly the united front they presented? Was the synchronized messaging masking deeper disagreements? Looking ahead, 3 scenarios seem probable. First, an attempted brand rehabilitation with increased joint appearances, though the authenticity will now always be questioned. Second, an acknowledged professional separation while maintaining personal unity, similar to the Williams sisters' approach. Third, and increasingly discussed by insiders, a complete decoupling both professionally and personally. What's certain is that the microphone moment has entered the permanent record. Unlike carefully cropped photos or edited interviews, it exists as raw footage. 10 seconds that revealed what months of speculation hadn't proven. For an audience that values authenticity and can detect manufactured narratives, this moment of unscripted reality may prove more significant than any prepared statement. Whether the Sussex partnership can survive this public fracture remains uncertain. What's clear is that the power dynamic has shifted, patterns have been broken, and the carefully constructed narrative of unbreakable unity has developed visible, perhaps irreparable, cracks. The microphone wasn't just a prop, it became a symbol of control, independence, and ultimately, revelation. In those 10 seconds, we saw not what the Sussexes wanted to show us, but what they couldn't hide. The implications ripple outward, affecting not just 2 people, but 2 institutions, multiple business ventures, and a carefully constructed public narrative that took years to build and only seconds to crack.